Good evening, everyone. Welcome to your most unreliable, most biased, completely untrustworthy newscast on the internet. This is the Crimson News Network. And tonight, boy, do we have a couple of stories to cover. So, there are some new anime that dropped trailers, so we're going to be talking about that. There was also the Cloudflare internet outages that happened somewhat recently that resulted in Cloudflare being sued by several manga publishing companies. So that's interesting. We also have a cucked Canadian weighing in on American politics and being a complete hypocrite. And the big stories for tonight. A black cosplayer has caused some strife on the internet because she decided to be Freerin. And a Korean gacha game dev got in trouble for using a hand gesture heavily associated with very radical feminist sects. So this is going to be an interesting one. So with that said, how is everyone today? I kind of had a slow, cold day myself. It was a lot of just boring stuff and just being out in the fucking cold. Yeah. Fortunately, it wasn't a hard day. And I did have to, sit through a couple of lectures and everything, but it is what it is. How is everyone doing here? So I see Muffler Tape saying that he will be fashionably late. Well, you will be fashionably late and flamingly gay. So congratulations. Biggles says he won't be fashionably late because he is not Muffler Tape. All right. Jeremy Turner is here. Muffler just caught up on Bookworm. Absolutely phenomenal series. 9.8 out of 10 anime. Thank you for the recommendation. Interesting. We have Marcel here. Hello there. General Kenobi. It is raining and thundering and lightning. When it lightnings, my whole house lights up. That black cosplayer had a Zelda book. That is my biggest problem with the cosplay. I think that's one of the fucking funniest parts of it. But we will get into all of that, and of course, I almost forgot the ultimate waifu tier list. We have the Konosuba girls, as well as the female members of the space battleship Yamato crew. So we're going to be putting those on the ultimate waifu tier list this week. Anyway, on to the big section of not the big section of our night. The beginning section of the night. I told you this is all fake news. It's completely untrustworthy. We're going to start here. So this is the one manga recommendation that came across my my feed recently. So we have the sloppy female assassin action Yotaka Futatabi by Izumida Fuyuki started in morning issue 5025. Action comedy about a female ex-assassin who was once feared in the criminal underworld but now lives a sloppy, lazy bum life with plenty of alcohol and cigarettes but no bra. The author just put in the but no bra there like it's a fucking clincher to the masterpiece. But when her landlord threatens to evict her, she's forced to return to her hit woman life to pay rent in time. Crimson, save me from scary rain. I can't help you, Biggles. I can't help you. But if listening to my voice makes you feel better, all right. Look, this personally isn't my sort of thing, but I figure some people are out here. And I mean, you can just kind of look over everything that is going on with this cover art and make conclusions for yourself as to what this is going to be like. But that's hardly the biggest event of the week, because there are more pressing matters on hand, and that is Witch Hat Atelier Trailer 2 has officially released.
君はこれから魔法使いになるんだ。魔法は世界に
Now, to be fair, like this looks, I've watched this trailer a couple of times. It looks gorgeous all the way through. But I do have a particular issue with it that I will go over closer to the end.
に溢れていて、なくてはならない便利な奇跡。魔法をかけられるのは
Like all of this looks fantastic. It looks like a really good rendition of what the manga's art has in store.
魔法使いだけ。ただの人間は
Animation
魔
looks
法を
fucking
恵んでもらう
amazing.
ことしかできない。
The music sounds great.
魔法使いのキーフリーと申します。魔法っていうの
Keyfrey looks good.
は不思議でキラキラで尊いんです。本当に魔法が好きなんだね。大きくなったら世界を彩る魔法使いになる。魔法
Like all in all, this trailer makes me really excited for it. Like it's doing a lot of things that I like.
ペンで書いてる。魔法はかけるんじゃなくて書くんだ。何を書いた？何の魔法を書いた？ごめんなさい。私の振りも知らなくて。知ってしまった事実は消せない。ならば秘密を持つがいな。
So they do show a couple of things in here. Like I'm glad to see this. But I guess we'll see.
秘密を持つがいなってもらう。とんがり帽子は君の魔法を見ている。
So this starts in spring of 2026. And what I will say though, of all of this, it's bug film, so they already had their issues with Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. The issue that I have with this trailer in particular is that it only seems to show things outside of a few brief shots that are within the first episode. Now, this could just be a directing thing. This could just be them doing their best to avoid spoilers for the series. They don't want to get too deep into it. They don't want to show too much. And, let everyone know exactly what's going to be going on too soon. Because, again, this is scheduled for April of 2026. Again, though, it only shows things that are all going to happen within the first episode. Outside of the scene where I paused it earlier. Let's see if I can find it here. We have a couple of shots. Yeah. Outside of this would probably be episode 2 or 3. Yeah. This is the one shot that I can guarantee you is not going to be in episode 1. But then again, it still looks good. I'm looking forward to this. I really enjoy this manga. I think it is fantastic. But there's actually a canonical reason for why they don't do that, Marcel. Because, and I'll just basically say the witches are divided into 2 sects. You have the pointed hats and the brim, or the pointed caps and the brim caps. So that is effectively the answer to that question. Or at least that's all of the answer you're going to get out of me. There are legitimately witches who have the traditional witch hat. So, and that is true, Jeremy. It's probably going to be I forget what it's like the Doldia mountain range or something like that is probably going to be join the dark side. We have cooler hats. Moving on, we have another anime trailer. And to those of you who are drinkers, you may end up enjoying this one. So this is called Drops of God, and this is the teaser, and it is scheduled for 2026. I'll just let this one, show you what it's about.
私のすべてを継ぐべきものへ。この文章をしたためる。ワインとは何か。
It is an anime all about drinking wine. There you go.
ソムリエル、デキャンタを。
その答えを。
I don't particularly know, like who this is supposed to be marketed to, but it came across my feed while I was getting ready for the show. I'm like, you know what? Might as well just run with it. They need to make an anime about rum. Oh, well, this seems like one of those like super like pretentious anime to me. One that would get a lot of attention from the snobby people, or is just going to be like super pretentious about wine. I don't care enough about wine or alcohol to know like all of the ins and outs of it. I'm literally just like, does it taste good? And does it make me drunk? Also, we have Zev here. Nice to see you. My brother is a trained sommelier, or however you spell that. I hope it's like Fraser. Am I too late for Crimson to pull a Mother's Basement? I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay. We do have there's a whiskey anime movie if you're interested. And then Lethal with the 5 gifted Crimson Law memberships. I appreciate that. And those went to The Runaway Vagabond, Captain Cook, Paul, The Helpers, and King David Beast 82. I appreciate that. Give me a second to go over here and where is it? Your media something like this. And then of course we have Biggles Mets with the 5 gifted memberships. Fuck you, Biggles. I'm kidding. You also. And those went to it doesn't say. Why do mine not work on your channel? I don't know. I don't know why yours don't go to anyone. It's so weird. Anyway, thank you to Lethal Lightning and to Biggles for the donations. I really appreciate it. That being said, though, we have we have a couple more trailers to get through here. And in particular, we have this guy who is probably my favorite of the while. Can't believe you don't have a popular phase hit. Also, thank you for the 9-month membership message. Anyway, ReZero Season 4 finally got a trailer. ReZero Season 4 finally has a trailer, and I found one that is that has subtitles to it too. So here we go. You're gonna get some nerd out from me on this one.
バルス、いつまで寝ているの？いい加減起きなさい、バルス。
They're starting out with the tunnels.
無風でこの気温の低さ。おそらく。
And they do a really good job of just like recreating these from the light novels. Like this looks really good. And there's for all the Rem fans. There's the quote: "We came here to wake Rem up." And that shot right there looks fitting. I'll say that. The black and white shots, all the crazy shit. The Anastasia shot here, this became so many memes of people just cropping this out and putting it in like Ring camera footage. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. Like all of that so far looks absolutely perfect for season 4.
プレアデス監視塔の中かしら。シャーラさ、プレアデス監視塔の星番、星様の可愛い教え子のシャーラスよ。
I already like Shala's voice.
それなら牽制と神竜に心当たりはある。
ここが俺たちの目指してたプレアデス監視塔だって実感。
その理解度じゃせいぜい100点満点。
Yep, there's Melee, of course, if you guys remember from season 2, one of our main antagonists. Anastasia is the voice of Morgana. She gives me PTSD from Persona 5. How many times is Subaru going to die this season? No spoilers on that one. Who is the crazy lady and can I like her? The crazy lady is if you're talking about the new girl here, the crazy lady is Shala. And yes, you can like her. She is high-ranking waifu. This is where some of my nitpicks start to come in. So the green room is supposed to have more foliage than this, at least from what it describes. These stone beds and everything are supposed to actually be made of foliage, at least for how the light novels seem to make it out to be. But it still kind of captures the idea of the green room.
なんすかその真剣な顔で。性格の素直じゃない人が塔を作ったってところでずっと考えてたの。
点検に至りしぐしゃかのものの。
And then we have Raid. We have Raid. Oh, this fucker is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to his performance because the guy who plays that is in a lot of stuff. Right off the bat, I could tell you like the guy who's voicing Raid is Mr. Sakamoto in the Japanese version. And a bunch of other stuff as well. I kind of forget his major roles. I think he has one in Mushoku Tensei as well. I gotta find this now. Anime. Should be able to scroll up. I should have it somewhere in here. Okay, yeah. So, oh wait, Priscilla would be the best girl because she is kind of Dami mommy. Anyway, so yeah, Tomokazu Sugita is the voice of Raid. And if you don't know him, that is Gyome, the Stone Hashira. He is, Rudius from his previous life, Sakamoto from Sakamoto Days. He is also Gintoki from Gintama, Joseph from JoJo Part 2, Katakuri from One Piece, Escanor, Seven Deadly Sins, and some other ones. Karasuma from Assassination Classroom. There are a lot of voices that are there. But all in all, I'm really glad with how that trailer came out. They do present a lot of the tunnel stuff in this one. They kind of focus on that, even though that's not really like a huge part of season 6. But it does kind of get you a little bit into the tone, or sorry, season 6, arc 6. They do kind of get the tone of arc 6's fuckery in the tunnels. So there's going to be some ridiculous shit because of that. That being said, though, I will not talk anymore on that because I don't want to spoil too much about the upcoming season. I also do not want to try and talk too much about it because overhype is a thing. Close that out. And then we will move on to one more trailer and then talk about some of the actual news and stuff that has been going on recently. So this is a random trailer that came across my feed called Killed Again, Mr. Detective. I probably should have checked the subs on this one, but oh well.
どんな事件も解き明かし、突き崩し、終わらせ。
Let's see.
俺は史上最強の
Subtitles. Oh, it doesn't have. Okay, I guess we'll have to go auto translate to English. We'll see what goes on here.
探偵の息子。俺の体の設計図は神様が徹夜残業で半分寝ながら描いたらしい。俺は俺を殺した犯人を見たんだ。巻き込まれるのはごめんだぞ。
So what, is this guy just like immortal or something?
眠っておられました。お帰りなさいませ。また殺されてしまったのですね。 探偵様。
So I guess the whole premise of this one is that it's just like an immortal detective. It seemed interesting when I watched it the first time, and then I couldn't find the trailer that I had watched the first time around, so there's that. I don't know much else about it, so that being said, though, there is actually a little bit of news to talk about. And actually, I'll just go right to here as far as announcements go. So the big notification on this one would be that Webtoons and Warner Bros. Animation have decided that they are going to team up to start adapting some of Webtoons' big hits. So Warner Bros. Animation and Webtoons Entertainment announced strategic partnership to adapt hit webcomics. Webtoon Entertainment Inc., a leading global entertainment company and home to some of the world's largest storytelling platforms, today announced plans to develop a slate of animated projects with Warner Bros. The companies intend to enter into an agreement to co-produce 10 fan favorite webtoon series for global consumption or for global distribution. I don't know about that. The collaboration is significant. Is a significant expansion of Webtoon's entertainment animation pipeline. Projects will be selected from the company's Korean and English language platforms, with development support from Webtoons Entertainment's US-based Webtoon production and Japanese IP business teams. Webtoon has become one of the most exciting sources of original storytelling in entertainment today, said Young Soo Kim, Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Global Webtoon. Our creators are building franchises that Gen Z audiences love, and working with Warner Bros. Animation gives us an incredible opportunity to take those stories further alongside one of the most respected names in animation. Bringing together the world-class artistry of Warner Bros. Animation and the vibrant storytelling of Webtoon creates an awesome combination and opportunity to build something special, said Sam Register, president of Warner Bros. Animation, Cartoon Network Studios, Hanna-Barbera Studios, Europe. I cannot wait to get started. Oh, we're going to get into this because I have a bone to pick with one series on here, actually. If they do a Webtoon anime, hopefully this is Home Plate Villain. It's a really fun baseball Webtoon. I still remember Cape Crusader from Jar Jar Abrams, produced in 500 mil deal. Yeah, I mean, Warner Bros. Has done Caped Crusader. I believe Warner Bros. Is also the ones who did, if I'm not mistaken, they're the ones who had Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, please. Anyway, so the initial development slate includes the following titles, with more to be announced at a later date. So, The Stellar Swordsman by Hong Dae-Uy. The so-called Lighthouse of the North, the prosperous trading town of Shoara, hides a dark underbelly, seedy slums ruled by 5 ruthless crime bosses. When streetwise orphan Vlad finds the brothel he works for decimated by a disgraced knight, he turns to the path of the blade, pledging himself to the pursuit of power by sword. Yes, that animated shite. Yeah, I don't have good things to say about either of those projects. So, that one doesn't sound too bad. Hardcore Leveling Warrior by Sehun Kim. Known as Hardcore Leveling Warrior, Ethan is the #1 player of the world's biggest game, Lucid Adventure. I don't like Lucid Adventure. Sounds really, really weird to me. Sorry. But when a mysterious player kills Ethan and forces his character back to level 1, he will do anything to get back on top. New friends and old foes, as well as mysterious forces in his own dark past, will follow him as he does his best to take back what was once his. So long as it stays in Asia, it should be fine. Duke of Death was great, and it was universal. And pass. So this one, I don't really care, and like this one doesn't interest me as much. This is the one that I have fucking beef with, okay? Hardcore Leveling isn't that old. I don't know. I've actually never heard of any of these outside of this one right here. So Down to Earth by Pookie Senpai. Cade lives his average life alone and undisturbed until a cute alien girl crashes in his backyard. Opening up his home, will this otherworldly girl inadvertently open up his heart? Now, if ever you had a problem with like romance anime, or just the way they take things extremely slow and dawdle and like pump it full of relationship drama just to drag shit out, this is that series. It is literally just this dude has a bunch of relationship troubles and he can't get over his ex. Meanwhile, literally every fucking person out here is like flirting with this bastard. Oh, also it's kind of fruity. So there's that. So Elf and Warrior by A.C. Stewart and Victor Rosas II. A young half elf discovers the challenges and gray areas involved in being a hero as he travels with his uncle's band of miscreants and outlaws. So this one actually sounds pretty decent. All right. Yeah. So Warner Bros. Animation is one of the leading producers of animation in the entertainment industry, producing and developing projects on multiple platforms, both domestically and internationally. WBA's current series include Aztec Batman Clash of Empires, Batman Caped Crusader, Bat Fam, Bat Wheels, Bugs Bunny Builders, Creature Commandos, DC Superpowers. Got Jiro, Harley Quinn, Jellystone, Keeping Up with the Joneses. Okay. Green Lantern. My Adventures with Superman. Teen Titans Go. Yeah. So I wanted to bring this one up. Elf and Warrior just checked. Look. Fuck. So I bring that up because it's one of those things where did I accidentally close that out? I wanted to do something else. Either way, I'll share that, close that, delete group, and we'll go back to you guys. So I bring that up because I wasn't particularly ecstatic about Warner Bros. Getting involved in more animation. They don't exactly have a good track record. I don't particularly trust them, especially since they're picking down to earth. Because like they have not done a good job. Cape Crusader is a good example of kind of like a meh anime that I just didn't care for. Anime, I should say cartoon. War of the Rohirrim was a tragedy that butchered a story that was an easy layup. But I'm guessing that they are desperate for anything. And given Webtoon's rather dodgy history of putting out good adaptations, I am not particularly hopeful for any of these projects that they have announced. Now, I will say that Clevitas is on Webtoons, but it's also an actively running manga over in Japan. So there is that. It exists outside of Webtoons, and that is probably the big reason that it is the outlier in terms of Webtoons, because there was also Let's Play that was turned into an anime this season, and Let's Play was horrendous. They can only throw money on problems, which shows in animation, but story is always effed up by diversity hires that want to modernize it for nobody. Yeah, so the moment Western people start getting involved in the production, especially Western corpos, things really do start to go sideways. It becomes kind of a huge problem. But that said, I don't really have much to say else on that other than I'm baffled that they're going for this. Now, there are a couple of cool webtoons that I did read, and one of them has already got an anime adaptation announced, and that's Teenage Mercenary, I believe. I actually enjoyed that one, so I'm kind of looking forward to what it does. Hopefully it isn't shit. Perhaps, maybe, hopefully we get something good out of a couple of those series, but I don't have particularly high hopes. Anyway. Now we get into some of the big talk for the night. So we have a little bit of a short topic, but one that I do have a lot to say about in the form of a Korean company getting canceled for a hand gesture or a Korean gacha company getting canceled for a hand gesture in one of their character animations. So let's start here. So, Stella Sora apologized publicly for a tiny animation that Korean players found offensive. You guessed it, a very small moment where a new character had their index finger too close to their thumb. The same motion Nike had to apologize for and censor a few weeks back. The same gesture Wuthering Waves had to completely cancel a partnership with over, I believe it was Zani, a few months back. I get the cultural relevance of the action might have in some instances, but can we stop acting like this is some kind of conspiracy theory to start treating it for what it is? Just absurd. Human beings, video games, characters, anime creations, we rest our fingers in that position all the time. I don't do this. We will get to this. We'll get to what you were saying in a bit here. But when you try hard enough to find something, you'll likely find instances of it in everything. They're just reaching at this point, and the developers should not have had to apologize, nor should they have had to begin internally discussing the matter with the development team, which is Chinese, by the way, not Korean. My God, there is genuinely no way this is real life. This is so dystopian that I almost don't want to believe it's actually happening, but it is. This time, I stand by Stella Sora and do not think that they should have issued an apology. They should have completely ignored whoever was complaining and let these Chinese studios keep pushing out the characters they wanted without censoring their revision. So here is the actual character animation. This is like when Reddit trolled Tariq Nasheed with the OK sign. Well, I will actually get into why this is significant in a little bit. Okay, it's a little bit more than just tiny peepee kind of stuff. Okay. So, hello, Demon King. We have reviewed your opinions regarding the specific motion in the upcoming character that is currently raising issues. First, we sincerely apologize for any discomfort this scene has caused many of you Demon Kings. However, we would like to inform you that this motion, contrary to your concerns, is a scene created by the artist of foreign nationality and has absolutely no relation to any specific ideology. Stella Sora does not support any ideology in any way, nor does it attempt to project any specific ideology through the game. We are striving to ensure that the game remains a game that many users can enjoy. In addition, we are internally discussing this matter with the development team and reviewing follow-up responses plans, including the possibility of revisions. We will provide further details on specific response measures through a separate announcement at a later date. We appreciate your valuable feedback, Demon Kings, and we will continue to do our utmost to provide better service going forward. So, all of that to say that there is some context to this. So, the reason that this is such a huge issue in Korea is because it is linked to radical feminist groups called Megalian and WOMAD. So this is there is no conspiracy theory at all. This is real. The pinch sign is a symbol and icon of hateful feminist groups called Megalia, and it has been frowned upon by many for the long time in Korea alongside the group called WOMAD. So there's a little bit more to talk about with this one. So I guess we can go to here where another person responded. And this is what kind of sent me down the rabbit hole trying to look into this tonight. So for context, in South Korea, this is a recognized hate symbol used by adherents to a feminist terrorist group and known cult, Megalia, a group responsible for the political violence against men, up to and including literal castration. Now, and that's the interesting thing. Well, 4B comes into this in a little bit here. So I went looking for any sort of like official information on this situation. I looked into Megalia as much as I could. I looked into WOMAD a little bit more and the 4B movement. And now 4B actually is not all that popular in Korea. As much as Western TikTok and media would love you to believe that 4B is like this big thing that is causing the decline in birth rates over in Korea, it's not. In fact, a lot of Koreans didn't even know what 4B was beforehand. Before it blew up in the West and people started talking about it. So, Megalia basically rose up as like a radical feminist counter movement to certain online incel groups. And their whole point was basically just to do the counter signaling of what the incel groups were doing, or the misogynistic groups were doing, and using all of their terminology, or mirroring all of their terminology and using it against men. On the surface, that's at least the official narrative, is what I will say. That is at least the official narrative. The issue is that I'm not particularly sure I trust all of the sources. I do not particularly trust all of the sources that are sort of glazing this movement. Megalia. I just don't think that I can trust the search engines or anything. The issue I have on the flip side of that, though, is I cannot find any solid proof to anything that people are claiming about the group, particularly because the Korean sites I attempted to access would not allow me to use their site. They were either taken down or just don't exist anymore. And they were all the way back in 2016. So these talks about castration and stuff like that, I cannot corroborate. And thus, since I am on doing a bit of a newscast here, I'm not going to make accusations I don't have proof of. But when it comes to WOMAD, I do actually have some more concrete proof of things. So WOMAD was basically a group that splintered off of Megalia. And they were the very, very extreme group. So Megalia was an extreme group. WOMAD was the very extreme group. So extreme, in fact, that they were anti-LGBTQ and also anti-trans. So they basically got excluded from Megalia for being transphobic and homophobic. I didn't end up having enough time to do that kind of research on it, unfortunately. I'm sorry. So I'm just kind of going off of what I found here. There is documented proof of people within WOMAD doing some actual shitty stuff. Violent encounters during protests. There is photographic evidence of them using putting up their menstrual products as part of their protests in public. So basically sticking their pads and tampons to the walls, which is nasty. But it only goes downhill from there. There was one where a woman literally got an abortion specifically because the child was going to be a boy. So there's that. She literally waited until she found out the gender of the child and then went and aborted the child. Called it if I remember correctly, the terminology, it basically translates to penis bastard, what she called the child. And then there was also a member of WOMAD admitting, I'll start here. A member of WOMAD who was an elementary school teacher admitting that she wanted to do sexy things with some of the kids playing on the playground. And talking about how she wanted to chew on them. It gets even worse because she then posted actual proof, or she then supposedly posted actual proof of herself sleeping with a underage boy. So yeah. And that is all of the proof that I have of anything that has happened in regards to WOMAD and Megalia. I can't get onto some of the sites that are cited. The videos that I have found on the internet don't really give a very good picture. There's not a breadth of information out there about them. And a lot of sources that do cover this are either paid sources or they are biased sources. So I can't really go through and evaluate things at the surface level. But I will say that some of the people who have actually lived in Korea that I've seen have talked about this, and they do speak and they do corroborate a lot of the things that are said. I have not seen the proof myself. I cannot put my full weight behind it. People who live in Korea have also posted videos about the 4B movement, about feminism, and why Koreans have such a negative view of it. And that is because Korea has only ever had the most radical version of feminism. And that would be, your 4B movement, Megalia, and WOMAD. There are also claims that they were, a cult that brainwashed the president, and it resulted in the government collapsing 3 times. But I haven't seen any proof of that. Again, people from Korea actually corroborating some of these claims. Like claims of outright sexual abuse. I'm looking through some of these. Yeah, but your quoting Styx has a reputation for getting literally everything wrong and having the worst possible take on literally everything. It got so bad he had all but abandoned his previous username. It's usually safe to assume if Styx says something, the opposite is true. Either way, from everything I've found, it does not paint these people. It does not paint WOMAD or what do you call it? Megalia in a good light. But I did not have the time to actually get into like going to the Wayback Machine and trying to search for any of this stuff. I couldn't really trust any of the sources that I came across. I did watch a couple of videos. I have seen a couple of people who live in Korea comment on this and say, yeah, it's actually true. Like all of this shit about the Korean feminists is true. But I do at least have a shred of integrity. And if I am going to say something definitive, I at least want to have seen the actual proof or have it on hand to say that thing definitively. But that said, we have a bit of talk about a basement dweller that we have to get into. So I guess we'll start here. So this is where it all begins. Mexico has some ongoing protests over a lot of their country being at the mercy of the cartels. They are not happy that the president and the current president is basically a pawn for the cartel. and they have taken to the streets to start, protesting everything. So this post gets made by an account called U.S. Homeland Security News, and it even has the shield logo there. So tomorrow will be the largest protest in Mexican history. The Mexican people have had enough of the corruption and violence that the cartels have brought on a once great country. It is time for President Trump to order massive airstrikes against all narco-terrorist targets across Mexico. It is time to make Mexico great again. So here we do have, a bunch of anti-cartel stuff along with the Straw Hat logo. And that is where this controversy kicks off because, well, there's been a lot of debate recently. Yes, that is not an official account. I was going to get to that. It says right here, this account is not an official representative of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So there we go. Anyway, this part right here, the Straw Hat logo is where this all kicks off. Because if you remember from the past couple of weeks, well, I shouldn't say past couple of weeks. If you remember a while ago, One Piece became a bit controversial because people were insisting that One Piece was in fact a political piece of media. And one of those people who was insisting that it was political was our boy Jeff Thew here. Geoff Thew, Mother's Basement. So he commented on this saying, "Put it back, thief." This coming from the guy who had insisted that One Piece was in fact a political series. Now, here's the issue. I don't think it's political, and I don't particularly care if people decide to take a series that I like and use it for their own political aims. I will argue as to why you are wrong, particularly when it comes to Frieren, because that's a project that needs to be made. But someone taking a symbol from your series and using it to make a political point is not the same as someone injecting their politics into the internal writing of the series, into the actual story of the series. Anyway, this guy ignited the internet because he decided that he was going to he was going to spurg out over making everything political. I'm surprised Mexico didn't use Goku. Those motherfuckers love Goku. Oops. We will close that out. So let's go to here and go to this. So here we go. So the context is AstroTurf protest against the immensely popular Mexican president, clumsy attempts to smear her as a friend of the cartels, and manufacture consent for U.S. military strikes in Mexico, in extension of their current policy of murdering random Venezuelan fishermen. So that's the screenshot that this person, has of this guy making his attack. So here we have Leva's strongest. Rare political post. Won't happen again. I can say this genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Fuck this fat ass. Just stick to talking about anime instead of showing that just how ignorant you are. Obviously, I don't want airstrikes in my country, but this guy is full of shit. And then to finish it off, here we have Espiritu. Here's the problem. He can't talk about anime anymore without ham-fisting politics into it. And if you call out the forcing of politics into anime by content creators, he and his buddies come after you and try to destroy you. They are trying to use anime to force their message in your face, and they are willing to destroy channels to do it. So effectively in all of this, Mother's Basement decided that he was, one, going to say that, well, in fact, we are going to say that One Piece is, in fact, a political piece of media. that it has deep leftist meaning to it, in spite of the fact that you can also say that it is incredibly right-wing because Luffy restores monarchies and fights a global, or is very nationalistic and fights a global government that wants to control everyone. I don't know. Nationalism, monarchy, and anti-globalism seem like pretty right-wing ideologies to me. Anyway. Just because you can project your politics onto something does not make that thing political. I can project my politics onto One Piece as much as anyone else can project, as much as the left can project their politics onto it as well. Then neither of those things make it political. Neither of those things are either of us making it political. At least not necessarily. Trying to use it to make dumb political comparisons or like claim it for your side, that's fucking retarded. It's rules for thee, not for me, at the end of the day. The moment that the politics are not aligned with what he wanted, he was completely willing to throw a bitch fit and complain that people were ruining anime for him. The difference is you can still watch One Piece without seeing that message. When someone is really making things political, they are inside the series working to try and tie it to modern day events. Just because a protest in Mexico or in Indonesia uses a straw hat flag does not make it political. It does not make One Piece political. Identifying with a fictional freedom fighter does not make the series political at all. You being able to project your politics onto it does not make it political. You can make the conversation about it political, like a lot of people love to do with Frieren, because there are a couple of asshats on either side of that conversation that just don't know how to talk about things. They don't know what they're talking about, period. But this idea that that all of a sudden, if the politics don't agree with you, it's bad. He is more pretentious than you, Crimson, and that is wild to me. Look, I own it that I'm a fucking pretentious ass. I'm okay with that. But it really makes me glad that I never really cared for this Mother's Basement guy. I never checked out any of his content. I never paid attention to anything he was saying. I just didn't care. A lot of the big Anitubers I just have never cared to watch. And I guess that's just a quirk of my personality, because I just don't care to keep up with other people's opinions. I like to have my own opinions. Occasionally, I will dabble in some of the stuff that other people do, but not like massive channels, unless I'm specifically reacting to something wild they said, like this. That said, I don't particularly think that he has a point. He's a fucking retard. He is a Canadian talking about American and Mexican politics. Crimson only pays attention to my opinions, and then he makes fun of me. True. Fact check, true. But with that said, we are going to move through a couple of final things for the night. So, here we go. So, from AniTV, so this is a... I guess we should start here. So, a Mappa parody account made a post about Owari no Seraph, and people fell for it. The account that they're talking about here, this one right here, made a couple of posts, particularly to do with Mappa doing One Punch Man, and they fooled a lot of people on the internet into thinking that they were the real Studio Mappa, which they were not. So here we have Studio Mappa has filed a DMCA on the Mappa parody account that trolled millions on Twitter. It gets even funnier because Studio Mappa is one of many accounts owned by the same person as AniTV Official. They are reporting on their own account without disclaimer. So not only did they get a DMCA strike against their account, They then tried to pretend like they were a different person commenting on this. This is clownery of the highest degree. Like, this is just fucking funny. But there are a lot of studios out there, a lot of studio accounts out there that are just straight up fake. They will say things, get people riled up. This is why I always try, unless like specific accounts talk about it and have actual proof. I do not say for certain that things are getting like season 2s or getting anime adaptations or anything like that, especially when it comes to unknown accounts that I just do not know. But I just wanted to share that because it was fucking hilarious that a guy decided to try and objectively report on his troll account getting DMCA'd, and people community noted it to say, hey, you're the same dude. That being said, though, there were some Cloudflare outages recently that happened. I'm pretty sure everyone felt that, considering it took down a significant portion of the internet. But in that, Shueisha, Kodansha, Shogakukan, and Kadokawa had a lawsuit going against them. So, Tokyo District Court has ruled on Wednesday that American internet infrastructure company Cloudflare is liable for damages in a copyright infringement lawsuit filed by Japanese publishers. The ruling recognized about 3.6 billion yen in damages to the 4 publishers. But since the publishers only claim a portion of the damages suffered was due to Cloudflare, Cloudflare was ordered to pay a total amount of 500 million yen, about 3.3 million USD. The 4 publishers issued a joint statement on Wednesday to announce the court's ruling, and stated that the ruling will be held to will lead to the prevention of misuse of CND services such as Cloudflare. The joint statement added that the companies will continue to protect the rights and works of creators and will continue to take firm action against copyright infringement. Publishers emphasize their belief that CDN services are beneficial when used for stable and efficient delivery of legitimate content to users. The lawsuit filed in 2022 alleges that Cloudflare distributes data for manga piracy sites that infringe on the publisher's copyright, and it sought both an injunction and about 460 million yen in compensation for damages. Kodansha then alleged that the lawsuit, that Cloudflare's policy of only requiring an email address to register for free allows piracy sites to hide their identity, and that Cloudflare was allowing multiple piracy sites collecting advertising revenue to operate. The court's ruling on Wednesday emphasized Cloudflare's liability by failing to implement stricter identity verification procedures. Basically, there were a lot of there's a lot of legal fuckery over Cloudflare hosting piracy sites. And now when it comes to some of this stuff, like the only way you can even fucking get it is if you pirate shit. Sometimes series are just old and nobody carries them. Sometimes they are locked behind they're like region locked behind a specific streaming service that doesn't even, work in your region. Disney Plus, I'm looking at you with Heavenly Delusion. So I really don't give a shit about piracy. I couldn't if I wanted to try. But it was interesting that when Cloudflare had all of this, server trouble and all that going on, they then also had this lawsuit trouble going on. But I guess this will be our final controversy for the night. So, you guys will have to see what we're talking about first before we get into the subject matter. So, a while ago, I said that people should not care about the race or the skin color of cosplays and fan art because they are unofficial, they are made for the enjoyment of fans, and you should not be that uptight about them. And it should go both ways. If someone makes a white version of Black Panther, don't give a fuck. If someone makes a black version of Frieren, don't give a fuck. If a Mexican cosplays as Captain America, I don't care. If a black dude decides he wants to play cosplay Superman, I still don't care. And the same goes when this black chick decided that she was going to cosplay as Frieren. So this is actually a really good cosplay. Like, the suit looks good. I like the whole aesthetic of it. She did a really good job. Like, I respect it. The Zelda book there is just kind of a hilarious little detail to me. I think it's just kind of something stupid, but I respect it. Also, the girl is not going to bleach her skin to cosplay. Yeah. So I guess one of the big things that I will say is this came up and it made me want to look into it. So Epic Mike responded to this with, "Holy shit, y'all. These fucking comments are just folks looking for an excuse to be racist cunts. A cosplay can be a race swap or a self-insert. It's literally a person wearing a costume. It would be like telling someone they can't wear an Iron Man costume because they aren't a billionaire. It's dumb as fuck to get offended by this, and it's just as dumb to start demanding black elves in Frieren. How about celebrating the person's attention to detail and costume quality?" That's all you really got to be, okay? It's just, all right, you know, they like the character, they want to cosplay as them. Go for it. Anyway, so that got me looking. I mean, I wanted to look through some of the quote tweets, but a lot of it is just people drawing, you know, fan art, like good fan art of it. Of course, we have, you know, Severus Chud over here saying my culture is not your costume, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. We have Kumashun talking about how it never go. It's like the tolerance is never both ways. This was fucking funny to me, where someone says, "This is the worst cosplay ever," and Grok's just like, "No, far from it. The Frieren cosplay shows solid craftsmanship." There's Epic Mike's response, another doodle. Oh, this one's going to end poorly. Commentary about Frieren fans being racist, and they are not doing a good job of proving that wrong. Dermy Wormy, amazing cosplay. Then there's, you know, you get into this. The racist remarks are not very common in here. Ooh, Discaris. That is good Discaris art. And there we go. Yep, and there we go again. So the quotes aren't that bad. The quotes, you have to scroll through a lot to start finding stuff. However, it was not the same when I went to the comments. So here we are. Grok, is this the worst cosplay ever? Brandon Varnell. I respect it. Promise not to get angry when some white girl cosplays a black chick. There's the wood. And there we go. We already hit it. You can't cosplay this character because of your skin color. It is just as stupid as the people who say you can't dress up as Moana for Halloween as a white girl. Yes, I agree. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay. Shouldn't a cosplayer look exactly like the character you cosplay? Nobody wants your self-insert. Cosplay is literally a fucking self-insert. I cosplay Asian characters all the time. I don't look Asian. Now, do a huge personality woman doing a Frieren cosplay. I might become a bigot if I see you cosplay as Frieren. Stark and Grumpy Cat are really the only characters I like. Yeah, it's. Which episode did she acquire that nose ring? What the? Visible disgust. Yeah, the comments generally are just fucking stupid. Like all the way through fucking stupid. And this is where I genuinely have a problem with the people who would be my side of the Frieren debate. Because then they go, like, on one hand, they'll argue that, like, it's not about racism or anything. Like, you guys are making it all about race. And then they will go and literally bludgeon someone for being black because they cosplayed as Frieren. If I could say the N-word here, there would have been a quote that I would have gone with. But unfortunately, I don't have that skill unlocked. It is a completely bullshit situation in which people are literally beating up on someone for doing exactly what cosplay is supposed to be about. Self-inserting as your favorite character. That is literally what cosplay is. And we shouldn't be beating each other up over it. We literally should not be abusing each other over it. People who are upset about her being a black person cosplaying a non-black character are the same fucking people who hate the people who say that only the same color person can voice that character. In some cases, I would really be tempted to say, well, this is, the response to years of internet bullying from the opposite direction over the same issue, where people have complained about, what you're talking about, where, the black character voices the white, or the black VA voices the white character or whatever. And people will complain about that, people will complain when a white person voices a black character, or when a white person cosplays as the black character, or a white person draws art that is too light of a shade of a black character. I won't say I would like. Under other circumstances, I would have said, perhaps this is just the backlash to that. But when you're sitting there spamming the N-word, I'm not giving you credit. You're just being a fucking racist. Okay? You are sitting there spamming an N-word at someone who wanted to play a character that they liked. If a company for live action Frieren hired a black actress for Frieren, there would be a problem. Yes, I 100% agree with that. Black individual playing, cosplaying Frieren, who the fuck cares? Yes. It is completely different when someone is doing something for themselves versus when they are doing something official. I only have a problem with it when it is official and they're trying to make changes to the existing thing. Also, Rolando sucks big dick, so he can fuck off. Bro literally wouldn't even call me gay to my face. He literally just shows up and decides that he'll have it passed on to someone else. Anyway, with that said, we only have one thing to do left tonight because I've talked in depth about the cosplay fan art stuff. I don't care if someone wants to make their fan art of black edits of anime characters, or if a black person wants to cosplay a character. Fucking do it. You should have fun. Enjoy the characters you love. Do it, do it, do it. Ignore anyone who says that you're the N-word for cosplaying Frieren, okay? And that's all I have to say on the subject. It is time for the ultimate waifu tier list. So this is where we were as of last week. And now, like I said, we have all of the Konosuba characters, as well as all of the gals from Space Battleship Yamato here to add to the list. So we're going to work our way up through it. So, Todo. When it comes to Todo, like, she's nice, but still C tier. Like, she doesn't really get that much time. She's like the kind of like straight lace, can't break the mold character. Didn't really care much for her. I forget her name, but she is the priestess from the second season. Basically like the mother of the clones and everything. If you include both versions of her, I guess B tier. Because, I mean, at the very least, she is hot. I'll actually put her right here. Yamamoto. Yamamoto can go in the A tier, okay? Like, she's good. A little standoffish, but she's good. Captain Nemi can definitely, you know what? I would actually put Nemi in S tier. I would put her up there. Starsha. Starsha can go in the A here, right next to Amelia. This chick, she's all right, but not really my thing. So I guess I'll put her right here in B. She's the one who ends up getting married to the guy who betrays him in season 2. Deets, kind of another B, honestly. Like, she's hot, sure, but she goes, there. The Starsha's sister. I forget what her name is, but see, this is an F tier. Sylvia is fucking F tier. Where is my Martian hottie? I don't remember which Martian hottie is. The next one is F tier, has a penis. Exact same reasoning, dude. Exact same reasoning. Guild receptionist can go in A. Yuki Mori can go in S. Oh, the pilot one? The pilot, Yamamoto is right here. She's right here. Eris. 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 Biggles says F. Honestly, I would put Eris in D, to be entirely honest. Like, I'm not particularly interested. Wiz. Wiz can go up here, just for the mommy milkers. She's great. I love Wiz. Wiz can go in S tier. Yun. Where do I feel like Union? On one hand, giant tits. On the other hand, I'm not into 14-year-olds. Union goes in S. I would gonna put Union in like the B tier. Nah. So Chris. Chris can go C tier. It's a little too high. I'll put Chris in the C tier. Aqua. I'm down with it, but she's fucking obnoxious. Darkness has to go in S tier. Like, just has to. Aqua is the perfect bimbo you just want to devastate in a graphic way. Yeah. Megumin. So let's be clear here. That's not what I want to do. With Aqua, I wouldn't want to put up with her over a long term, but she's definitely fucking hot, okay? And now as far as waifu material, Megumin doesn't rate very high as like waifu material, but she's a fantastic character, and I really do like her as a character. So at the very least, I'll put her here in the A category. She can get an A for all I care, you know? And that is where we will leave off for now. What series should I do next? You know what? Maybe just to troll Roland since he doesn't show up to these. I'll do Bleach next week. Roland's favorite waifu is Felix. Yeah, perhaps I will put Bleach waifus on the list here. But that said, I need a screenshot to keep track of where we are. So that is basically how I feel about these characters. You know, insofar as, you know, waifu material is concerned. And with that said, we're going to wrap it up. So I will probably see you guys a little bit later in the week for, you know, just the usual shenanigans that I get up to. Maybe I'll be involved in Roland's podcast over at the Roll of Rome cast. And then, of course, I do have animated, but I will also be working on another video this week. So look forward to that, hopefully. I don't know what I'm going to do that one on that. Actually, I think I do. I think I'm going to do Boxing Queen. So if you guys enjoyed, please hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I do appreciate it. There are also channel memberships if you want to support me financially. I also appreciate those. Thank you to everyone who showed up and tuned in. And also, I will say, just be sure to be around for the Biggles Breakdown, because we are going to be going over a ridiculous anime called Hensuki over there on Monday. So that said, have a good night, and there will be no Crimson News Network next week. It's going to be Fictionology, Sword Art Online. So stay tuned. I will see you at the beginning of December for more misinformation, biased opinions, and untrustworthy news. Should probably actually get ready to sign off and tab over if I'm going to do that. Plot twist. Fuck you, Biggle.
Oh,